India imports over 85% of its crude oil and more than half of its natural gas. Let that sink in. We are basically running the country on someone else's fuel card. And in today's world, with conflicts flaring up, sea routes getting tighter, and the supply chains on edge, that's not just expensive, it's risky. Enter Russia. Since 2022, they have gone from being a footnote in our oil imports to the main character, now supplying nearly 40% of our crude. Yes, we got a discount, great, but depending too much on one geopolitical partner? That's not a strategy, that's a cliff with a blindfold. Energy security isn't about switching partners, it's about not being stuck with one. Here's where it gets serious. In 2023 to 24, India spent $170 billion just on oil and gas. That's over 25% of our entire import bill. It's like trying to save money while your house has a massive fuel leak. This kind of outflow puts pressure on the rupee, widens our trade deficit, and makes economic stability a balancing act. Then came June 2025, when the world nearly tipped into chaos. Tensions between Israel and Iran almost lit up the Middle East. Had that gone sideways, 20 million barrels of oil per day would have been at risk. Prices probably through the roof, easily $1 or $3 per barrel. The war didn't happen, but the world got a loud, clear reminder. Our energy lifelines are fragile, and it's not the first time. Let's rewind to 5 energy shock moments that changed everything. 1. 1973. OPEC shut the taps. Prices quadrupled. The West panicked. But it forced countries to build reserves and look elsewhere. Silver lining, yeah? 2. 2011 Fukushima. A tsunami caused a nuclear meltdown in Japan. Global confidence in nuclear power? Shaken. But with emissions on the rise, nuclear is now getting a second look. 3. 2021 Texas freeze. Pipelines froze. Wind turbines stopped spinning. Lesson: systems built just for savings can crumble when the weather gets moody. 4. 2022 Russia-Ukraine. Europe lost 40% of its gas overnight. LNG prices soared. Coal made a comeback because energy security beats energy idealism. 5. 2025 Iberian blackout. Spain and Portugal relied too much on renewables without backup. Results? Well, the lights went out. Each of these events didn't just change policies, they changed minds. Now we have a rare opportunity to act with foresight instead of regret. Here's the honest truth. For all the buzz around green energy, fossil fuels still make up 80% of global energy, and more than 90% of transport runs on hydrocarbons. Solar and wind are growing fast, but together they're still under 10% of the global mix. Meanwhile, oil and gas investments are dropping, but demand it's still going strong. The result? A tightly wound system that panics easily. So what do we need? Energy realism. Yeah, energy realism. Not doom and gloom, just a clear-headed plan. Because transitions aren't instant. They are not light switches. They are more like multi-lane highways, and we need to stay in the right lane. India needs a smart, homegrown energy strategy. One that rests on 5 solid pillars: coal gasification, biofuels, nuclear energy, green hydrogen, pumped hydro. Well, coal gasification. We've got over 150 billion tons of coal, much of it high in ash. For years, that was a problem. Now, with better tech, we can turn that into syngas, methanol, hydrogen, and fertilizers. Ash isn't trash, it's a resource waiting to be unlocked. Biofuels. Our ethanol blending program has saved us billions and handed farmers 92,000 crore. With E20 coming up, rural incomes will only rise. And compressed biogas, clean fuel plus healthy soil equals win-win. Nuclear energy. We have been stuck at 8.8 gigawatts forever. Time to dust off the thorium roadmap, secure uranium partnerships, and invest in small modular reactors. Because when the sun isn't shining and the wind isn't blowing, nuclear shows up. Green hydrogen. India is aiming for 5 million metric tons by 2030. But we can't just import the tech. We need to build it here. Electrolyzers, catalysts, storage, everything. We don't just want green hydrogen, we want Indian hydrogen. Pumped hydro. It's old school, yes, but it works. Perfect for grid balancing and providing the stability that solar and wind can't. And with India's geography, it's a natural fit. A few years ago, over 60% of our oil came from West Asia. Now it's under 45%. That's not a random dip. It's a part of long-term shift. And it's working. Because energy security isn't about reacting to the next crisis, it's about being ready before it arrives. We are now in the age of sovereignty. Yes, age of sovereignty. And the Israel Iran ceasefire gave us time, a window, a warning. The next shock may not be so polite. The 21st century won't be defined by who finds the next oil field, it will be defined by who doesn't need to. India's energy future, it's not about choosing between green or fossil. It's about choosing independence. Coal gasification, biofuels, nuclear, green hydrogen, and pumped hydro, these aren't side projects. They are the spine of a stronger, more secure India. Because tomorrow's most valuable energy isn't oil. It's energy that is reliable, affordable, and made right here in India. And the time to build it, it's now. Subscribe for more videos.